What if there were states in the U.S. actively working to keep immigrants out? In a country built on the foundation of immigration, some states have set themselves apart by enforcing tough regulations against immigrants, especially those undocumented, while other states have embraced sanctuary policies, protecting immigrants and offering them a safe haven. Certain states have taken a starkly opposite approach. Today, we'll take you on a journey through the U.S., states where immigrants find it toughest to stay, and we'll explore the laws and measures shaping their stance. Stay with us, because what you'll learn might just change the way you see immigration in America. Number 1. South Carolina. South Carolina is a state rich in history, from its role in the American Revolution to the civil rights struggles of the 20th century. But today, it is also known for its tough stance on immigration. While 5% of South Carolina's population is made up of immigrants, the state has enacted measures to ensure it remains one of the least friendly places for undocumented migrants. Back in 2011, South Carolina passed the infamous SB 20 law, a regulation that empowered police to check the immigration status of individuals during routine traffic stops. This move was seen as part of a broader trend in the state to discourage immigration, especially from undocumented populations. While parts of the law were eventually challenged and blocked, the message remains clear: South Carolina is not a welcoming place for undocumented immigrants, and the state's anti-sanctuary city stance reinforces this sentiment. The state's refusal to offer sanctuary to immigrants speaks volumes about its stance on immigration, making it a challenging environment for those seeking a new home in the U.S. Number 2. Arkansas. Nestled in the heart of the South, Arkansas might not be the first state you think of when it comes to strict immigration policies, but behind its picturesque landscapes and southern charm lies a state determined to crack down on undocumented immigrants. In 2019, Governor Asa Hutchinson signed legislation prohibiting sanctuary cities and promoting cooperation with federal immigration authorities. While only a small percentage of Arkansas's population is made up of immigrants, the state has taken aggressive steps to deter undocumented residents. For instance, Arkansas has joined other states in a federal lawsuit aimed at blocking President Biden's initiative to protect long-term undocumented residents. This move has created an environment where undocumented immigrants find it extremely difficult to stay, as law enforcement and local authorities keep a close eye on their movements. As a result, Arkansas has seen a steady decline in undocumented immigration, becoming a state where immigrants find few opportunities to settle and thrive. Number 3. Tennessee. Tennessee may be famous for its country music and rolling hills, but it's also becoming known for its uncompromising stance on immigration. In July 2024, Tennessee passed SB 2576, a law mandating local law enforcement to check the immigration status of individuals suspected of being in the country illegally. The law marked a significant shift in the state's approach to immigration, moving from optional to mandatory checks. For immigrants, especially those undocumented, this law has created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. While some may argue that the law is necessary for security, others see it as a step toward racial profiling and unnecessary harassment of immigrants. This, coupled with the fact that Tennessee has seen rising costs related to illegal immigration, has only strengthened the state's resolve to push immigrants away. For many looking to call Tennessee home, the door might just be closing. Number 4. Idaho. Idaho, often associated with its breathtaking landscapes and agricultural bounty, may seem like an unlikely place for tough immigration policies, but scratch beneath the surface, and you'll find a state that has taken a hard-line stance against undocumented immigrants. In March 2024, the Idaho House of Representatives passed a bill giving local law enforcement increased power to detain undocumented immigrants. This legislation allows officers to act on immigration matters, even when they're not federally mandated to do so. For Idaho, this was a clear message. The state is determined to control immigration at the local level. With only a small immigrant population compared to national averages, Idaho's policies may seem like overkill to some. However, state officials argue that these measures are necessary to maintain law and order. Idaho's anti-sanctuary policies align with its desire to limit the flow of undocumented immigrants into the state. In July 2024, the city of Eagle declared itself a non-sanctuary city, banning taxpayer funds from being used for services directed toward undocumented immigrants, a move that sparked both support and controversy. The combination of local and state initiatives has made Idaho an unwelcoming place for immigrants looking for opportunities in the vast, rural state. For those hoping to settle in the gem state, they'll quickly realize that the state's stance on immigration is far from lenient. With laws like these, Idaho continues to build its reputation as a state that values strict immigration control over offering a refuge for undocumented populations. Number 5. Alabama. Alabama's rich history, from its role in the civil rights movement to its famous college football rivalries, often paints it as a state of pride and resilience. However, this same resilience has manifested in its immigration policies, which are some of the strictest in the nation. Alabama has outright banned sanctuary cities, meaning that no county or municipality within the state can adopt policies that protect undocumented immigrants from federal immigration laws. This move, while controversial, has been celebrated by many within the state as a necessary step toward securing Alabama's borders from undocumented immigrants. The state's population includes a relatively small percentage of immigrants, about 3.8% according to recent data, but Alabama lawmakers have shown little interest in welcoming more. This has been further emphasized by the passing of laws that restrict undocumented immigrants' access to public services, including healthcare and education. The state's policies have created a landscape where immigrants feel less welcomed and where undocumented individuals are unlikely to thrive due to stringent enforcement. In Alabama, the message is clear: undocumented immigrants are not welcome. While this stance has led to lower immigration rates compared to national averages, it has also sparked debates about the role of inclusivity and diversity in the state's future. But for now, Alabama remains one of the toughest states for immigrants seeking refuge or opportunity in the U.S. Number 6. Florida. Florida, known for its sunny beaches and bustling tourism, has also become known for its strong opposition to undocumented immigrants. In July 2024, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed SB 1718 into law, one of the nation's toughest immigration laws. This law introduced severe penalties for those employing undocumented workers, even criminalizing the act of transporting undocumented immigrants into the state. For many undocumented individuals, Florida has shifted from a land of opportunity to a state filled with legal and financial obstacles. The law hasn't been without its critics. Businesses in Florida, particularly in industries like agriculture and construction, have voiced concerns that the new rules are making it difficult to find workers. With many immigrants leaving the state to avoid potential legal troubles, the impact has been felt across sectors, with reports of labor shortages following the law's enactment. Despite these economic drawbacks, Florida's leaders have remained firm in their position, pushing forward with policies aimed at reducing the number of undocumented individuals within the state. Adding to this tough stance, Florida has banned sanctuary cities and implemented further restrictions on recognizing driver's licenses issued to undocumented immigrants from other states. With these measures in place, Florida is not just a sunny vacation spot, it has also become a battleground for immigration policies, making it one of the least welcoming states for immigrants, particularly those without documentation. Number 7. Texas. Texas, with its deep cultural roots and history as an immigrant hub, is paradoxically one of the most aggressive states in controlling immigration. In 2017, the state passed Senate Bill 4, which outlawed sanctuary cities and required local law enforcement to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. While Texas has a significant immigrant population, its leadership has made it clear that undocumented immigrants will face significant challenges in staying within the state's borders. Governor Greg Abbott's approach has been bold and controversial. One of the most headline-grabbing policies involves busing immigrants to other states, specifically Democratic-led cities like New York and Chicago. This move, which began in 2022, has seen over 100,000 immigrants transported out of Texas, highlighting the state's firm stance against providing shelter or support to undocumented individuals. Supporters of the policy argue it alleviates pressure on Texas resources, while critics see it as a political stunt. Despite its long history as a destination for immigrants, particularly from Latin America, Texas has become one of the hardest places for undocumented individuals to settle. With strong state laws and active federal cooperation, Texas sends a clear message. While it remains a cultural melting pot, undocumented immigrants are no longer welcome to stay indefinitely. Number 8. West Virginia. West Virginia may be known for its picturesque mountains and deep coal mining roots, but it's also a state with a no-nonsense approach to immigration. In 2022, the state passed legislation that eliminated sanctuary city policies, ensuring that local governments cooperate with federal immigration laws. This move made it clear that West Virginia has little room for undocumented immigrants. Even in its quieter, rural regions, local governments in West Virginia are now required to report undocumented immigrants to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, a policy that aligns the state with others taking a hard stance on immigration. The state's decision to prioritize these efforts highlights its commitment to cracking down on undocumented residents. Even though West Virginia's immigrant population remains relatively small, however, in line with states like Texas, West Virginia is considering sending migrants to sanctuary cities elsewhere, further signaling its unwillingness to host undocumented populations. For a state steeped in tradition and a strong sense of community, West Virginia's immigration policies may surprise some. But with rising concerns over economic and security issues tied to immigration, the state's leadership has chosen to make it one of the least accommodating places for undocumented immigrants in the U.S. Number 9. Iowa. Iowa, a state famous for its expansive cornfields and pivotal role in U.S. presidential primaries, has joined the ranks of states pushing back against undocumented immigration. In January 2024, Iowa's lawmakers reaffirmed their stance by pushing for stricter immigration enforcement laws, particularly those aimed at eliminating sanctuary cities within the state. Iowa's decision to enact these laws speaks to a broader trend of Midwestern states adopting tougher immigration policies. Even in areas where immigrant populations are small, the state has been active in legal battles to ensure that undocumented immigrants do not find refuge in Iowa. In September 2024, state attorneys sought to reinstate a law that would allow local judges to deport undocumented individuals, a move that would give Iowa even more control over its immigration policy. Although this law has faced legal challenges, Iowa's leaders remain steadfast in their push to make the state less appealing to undocumented immigrants. While Iowa has traditionally been a welcoming state, known for its hospitality and sense of community, its recent immigration policies signal a shift. Immigrants seeking to settle in Iowa now face a significantly tougher environment, with local authorities empowered to report and act against those without proper documentation. Number 10. Nebraska. Nebraska, the heart of the Great Plains, is a state where agriculture dominates, but so too does a strong stance against undocumented immigration. In recent years, Nebraska lawmakers have passed several measures to limit the presence of undocumented immigrants. The state's policies range from cracking down on businesses that hire undocumented workers to eliminating any potential for sanctuary city policies. For a state that relies heavily on labor for its farms and industries, these policies have raised concerns among employers but have been embraced by those advocating for stricter immigration enforcement. The state's lawmakers have justified these measures by arguing that undocumented immigration puts a strain on public resources, particularly healthcare and education. Like many states in the region, Nebraska has sought to enforce strict immigration laws. This balancing act has resulted in a landscape where immigrants, especially those undocumented, find few opportunities to build a life without facing legal obstacles. While Nebraska may be known for its vast, open plains and tight-knit communities, its immigration policies paint a different picture. For undocumented immigrants, Nebraska has become a difficult state to navigate, with local and state laws working in tandem to create one of the toughest environments for immigration in the U.S. As we've journeyed through these 10 states, a clear pattern has emerged. While the U.S. is a nation of immigrants, not all of its states are equally welcoming. For undocumented individuals, navigating the complex and often hostile landscape of immigration laws can feel like an uphill battle. These states, with their stringent enforcement and anti-sanctuary policies, make it clear that they do not intend to offer refuge to those who lack legal documentation. However, the consequences of these policies extend beyond just the immigrants themselves. Local economies, social services, and even cultural dynamics are being shaped by these tough stances. For more in-depth explorations of immigration and other global issues, don't forget to subscribe to Exploring Our Planet. Our videos will continue to uncover the stories and policies that shape our world, and we invite you to stay with us for more thought-provoking content.